Okay, I'm going to run you through the process of creating your first album with Sim2000 Imaging. Now, when you go to their homepage, sim2000imaging.com, you can see here you've got a download page for their professional design software. So if you click on download, you're presented with the choice of whether it's a PC version or a Mac version. Click on the one you want, download and install it. It's simple as that. And when you've done that, you click on the icon that appears on your desktop and you're presented with this box here. Basically it just says you can either create your new project or open an existing project that you're working on. The software has an expiry date, but obviously they'll update that as and when it comes about. That goes through to 2012, so we've got a couple of years left on there. We're going to create a new project, so if I click on that, it will open up the software in its entirety. But here we've got a choice of what you want to load. Now, I mentioned in the review that you've got a big choice of products from Sim2000 Imaging. You've got albums, block mounts, prints, books, boxes, box frames, canvases. If we have a look at some of those, you can see here, first one we've got business cards, then you've got box frames, which are really nice. You can create those through the software. Then we've got block mounts, we've got canvas wrap prints of all various shapes and sizes. You've got cards that you can use for your clients, for thank you cards, that kind of thing, for weddings, all different shapes and sizes again. Then we've got books on printed paper or photographic paper, either square, landscape or portrait. Got the albums that we're going to show you, we're going to use here. You've also got nice frames that you can create, printed frames. We've got layered acrylic prints, which are really nice and kind of in at the moment. Then you've got postcards, which is good for marketing materials, square, portrait or landscape. Picture boxes to put prints in. These are quite deep boxes, 10 by 8s. Then you've got 30mm deep album boxes, which are good. You can obviously design the box outer photo yourself and all the wording and everything. It's completely up to you what design you use. Then you've got other picture boxes, and then you've got simplicity range, where you've got nice frame prints that you can send off and have done. There's portrait books, landscape or portrait or square. Then you've got the simplicity range, which we've just done, and the trifold leaflet square, which is great for marketing, that kind of thing. We're going to pick an album and the landscape album. All you do is then click next once you've selected it, and we're going to give that a name. You can see here the studio samples that I ordered recently. Let's call this one test, and then just click create. It will create a new whole folder, and it will open up the software in its entirety. And you can see here it looks quite confusing. Obviously, like any software you first install and start to use, it can be a bit daunting because there's so much to it. Now, once you actually get used to this, it's very, very simple to create an album. It's very quick. It's a lot quicker than doing them on Photoshop, templates, that kind of thing. First thing you need to do, though, is find your images. So you literally click on plus, add pictures. You go to wherever they are. You go to find them. Let's have a look. And we've got pics for Sim sample book. Click select, and it will load all of the photos from that folder. So I suggest you choose your photos wisely, put them in a single folder, and then upload them all here. Once they're in, you don't have to use them all, but obviously they're all there within the software, within that folder. So the first page you're presented with, here we've got a 30-sided 15-page photo book, and these are all solid pages, as I mentioned in the review. Now the first page you're selected is the front page of the book, so it's the main page of the book, the cover, sorry. And here below you've got 4 types of cover that they will give you as a template, but obviously you can create your own and upload those. You've got an embossed cover, a cameo cover, cover 3 and a cover 1. The embossed cover, if I click on that and drag it into the home page there, or the cover page, you can see there it's use this cover template if you would like an embossed leather cover. You can personalise your wording for the cover when you complete the online order form. Obviously you just change the wording there, the lettering and everything. You do that when you're ordering, and it will just create a simple embossed cover for the thing. And you can obviously change various items with this, the colour of the book, that kind of thing. But the one I like is cover 1, so if I click and drag that onto there, we've now got an image section here with a border either side in black. Now I can change all the dimensions of this. I can change the background colour, that kind of thing. If we look here at masks, I can add different masks to where the image is going to go. So if I wanted a halo effect, I literally again click and drag that in there, and it gives that image a halo effect. So if I was to then click and add an image, let's say, let's pick an image, this one, click and drag that in there, it gives it a kind of halo effect. Now you can make adjustments to this, but I quite like leaving it as it is, so let's click none and drag that in there. So now we've got just the plain photo in there. Now obviously I'd like to have some borders there, so you've got various ways of changing the image up here. You may have also noticed that I dragged the image over, and as I did so it put a number 1 in there, so it's the first image used, and it tells you that you've actually used that image, so you're not going to duplicate it throughout the book. Now you can see the original photo was colour, and it's come to black and white as we've moved it over. Up here, if we click on one of these icons, you can change the colour here. So if I click on the photo, click on there, change it back to original, and the photo is now in colour. Now I'd like to add a border to there, so it's very simple. You go to the first box here, and then you click on, let's have a look. Yes, that's the point. Whenever you click on something, when you first start making a book, it'll come up with these information modules. It'll tell you about what your options are, and it's good to leave it on because obviously when you're designing your first book you don't want to make any mistakes. So it's telling me I need to actually select the box first. So if I select that and then click border, and I want a white border around that photo, so I click on the colour and click on white, and it's already set to a border of 1, but if I want to make it slightly thicker, let's go to 2, and it's created a white border around that photo. So that's the photo basically done with a nice black background. And to change the lettering here, you've got a lettering box, a text box, which you can move about all over the place. Double click on that, and it allows you to change the texting, the font, the size, all the usual suspects from a kind of Word document. So you can play around with the text there and obviously change the colours and everything. So once you've done that, you can add, like I say, masks, that kind of thing. If you want to change the background, click on the background tab down here, and we just literally click and drag that again and drop it, and it will add a kind of coloured-ish background into that book. You can obviously design your own and upload those as well, but I like the black background, so if I click none and drag that into there, it'll revert back to black. And then you've got a scrapbook option where you can actually add more photos to this. So if we clicked on, say, this Art 3H Small and dragged it there, it will create 3 photo boxes. So if I wanted to add my own design to this, I would simply add that to the left of the cover, and then I'd pick 3 photos that I wanted to load into there. Let's pick one of the rings there, and just literally click the photo, drag it in, and it will appear there. And then let's pick another one. I'm just using any old photos here, I'm not particularly making any sort of design. And then another landscape photo of the dress. You can see how easy the software is. It basically it's just click and drag, simplicity itself. And once you've done that, you can click on the boxes and drag them about anywhere you want over the page, just to make sure. And there is a snap facility where they will snap into place, so you're going to get the lineup quite true. And obviously once you've done that, you can change the borders and all the effects with those photos as well. But I like a nice clean page, so if we do control and Z, you can actually go back a few steps and delete those. So let's just say here we've got our home page done. We like that. It's Harry and Sally got married on the 25th of June 07. Happy with the cover. Let's go to the next set of pages, and you can see down here as we do so, let's put that back to page styles. As we click on the next page, which is sheet 1 to 2, you can see all of these change, and we've got so many templates to use for the interior of the book. You can see them all going along here, and I suggest you spend some time playing with those and working out what they do. But there's enough there to create a really good looking book. So let's pick one of these here. Let's choose this one. You literally click and drag again into pages 1 and 2, and you've got the template already in there. And then again, all you need to do is select your first photo. Let's have a bride getting ready shot, something like that. What have we got here? Bride getting ready. Let's just say, let's use one of the girls there. Where's it gone? This one here. So if I click that as my main photo, literally again click and drag, and you've got this gradient effect which will work quite nicely with the images. If I wanted to move this around, I can do, and I'll show you how to do that in a sec, because it's just dropped it into the image. If you right click on the photo, you can then align it how you want, you can arrange it, and you can fit. So if I click fit picture to box, it will move it into place a bit better. Now if I'm not happy with that, there's various things I can do. Now if you literally just left clicked and dragged the image, it's going to move the whole box around the screen. Now I don't want to do that, so if I click Control and Z, it moves it back into place. If you press Alt and then move, you can actually move the photo from within there without actually moving the box. So that's a much better way of doing it. Now once you've done that, you can actually get rid of this fade if you want, but that looks quite nice. The middle bit here is where the fold in the page is going to be. Now remember, these are hard pages, so this is going to fold open quite nicely, as you'll see in the sample in the next video. But let's just say I'm happy with that. I've got 2 more photos to add here, so I can literally click on a photo, add it. That's in there, and then click on another photo, say the flowers. Now what I'm going to do here is click the flowers and put them over to there. It's a portrait photo. I'm moving into a landscape box or template, so if I click that into there, it will automatically resize it and fit it. But I want to fit picture to box, and then if I press Alt and then drag, I can drag it around until I get the right kind of look that I want from that photo. So there we go, and it's automatically put these borders in. If I wanted to change those, click on the photo, go to border. You can either turn it off, you can change the size, the opacity of the border, everything's done from there. And I can also change the colour. If I wanted to make it a red border, I can do so there. So there's loads of things you can do once the photos are in there. You can add drop shadows, like I said, change the shape of the photo. There's so many things you can do, but I quite like simple albums, just to have the photos with basic borders and maybe a drop shadow or 2. But if I was to use one of these photos again, you can see here there's number 1 on there. If I click that and drag that into there to overlay over there, I can see now that I've used it twice. And it'll tell you, every time you upload it again, it'll tell you how many times you've used that photo within the album. But obviously again, Control Z, and you can move back, and it removes that back to 1. So that's really the basics of this kind of album layout. It's so simple. Let's say now I want to use a different mask for one of these photos. If I click on the mask section here, I can then change the mask for each one of these. So if I wanted to put a halo around this image here, click on the halo 3, drag it onto the photo, and it will create a kind of vignette halo around there. Control Z to remove that again. I can change the background again. If I want to put a colourful background here instead of black, I literally click on one of these. Let's pick Art LD6, and it will change that from black to a more suitable background. But obviously you've got this line here, it fades incorrectly, so I prefer the old one. Like I said, when you're using this, you have to kind of play around with the software, but it's so simple to use. When you've got Control Z, like you have in most programs, which will take you back to the original the photo, so I can just keep clicking Control Z and go all the way back to the beginning, and then Control Shift and Z will take me forward. So there's various things you can do, but you can't really mess this up. You save it at various points throughout the making of the album, but it's very simple to use. Excuse me, that was just a RSS feed coming through. Now let's go to the next page and click another one. We go back to page styles. We can click another page style. Let's have one of let's have what we've got. You can see how many there are. There's just hundreds of them. I quite like it where we have huge photos going right across the page like this one. So let's click that in there, and we can have a nice photo of the couple, maybe like this one. If we click and drag that into there, this goes right across both pages. Now you can see again we've chopped off some of the head. So if I right click, fit to box, it will kind of move it down a little bit. But if I now click Alt, and then I can move the image to how I want it, which is about there. Remember, you have to keep it within the red lines here, because that's where the photo bleeds off the page, and that's the cropping area for when the book is made. And I can tell you it's very accurate. From what I saw in my books, which you'll see in the next video, it's very accurate. So let's say there I've got the main photo going right across the page, and again when the book's opened, it's a hard it's a hard pages, so when they're lay flat, this won't show. You'll just have a photo going right across, and then we simply once again just pick a couple of photos to go in these, click and drag, and it normally lines it up really well. And one more there, click and drag, and you've got the photos in there. You can see how simple this software is to use. It's very good. And once you've made your album, you click on the shopping cart here, and what this will do is tell you what errors you've made within the book. So it says here, front cover, picture box in trim area. So some of the pictures going to be trimmed. So if we view the page down here, it will show you what's happened. And all it's saying is that the image we loaded on the front page here is actually within the red trim area. So I know that these bits are going to get cut off. So I'm not too fussed about that. All it is giving you a recommendation here. If you've got this kind of triangle with a exclamation mark in it, it's giving you a hint as to how the book is going to look. So I'm happy with that. That's not too bad. Page 2, again, the picture box is positioned in the area of the page that will be trimmed during manufacturing process. If we look at that page, view page, it will show you again that this photo we loaded goes outside of the red marker line. And again, I've positioned that so that I'm not fussed what gets chopped away, because it's just walls and various bits and pieces. So it gives you an idea of what you've made errors you've made on the page, or where you should actually be aware of something that's going to be changed when the book is printed. But it's just suggestions. You can see here we've got empty pages because we haven't actually done anything. So if I still wanted to print that book with a load of empty pages, you literally click OK, and it tells you if you want to continue. It's suggested that you first try to fix the problems, and then you can say yes, I'm sure, I've double checked, and go through, and then it will take you through to the actual ordering page where you make payment, that kind of thing. So you can see there the software is very, very simple to use. It's very good. I would suggest that you have a play with it. Go to their site, download the software, load some photos, and just try and make up a book. And you can actually have a preview book made at the end into a file that you can actually flick through on your screen. So head over to sim2000imaging.com, download the software, install it on your system, throw some of your favourite wedding photos in there, and just have a bit of a play with the software and try and build your first album. I would definitely recommend you get hold of this sample set, which we're going to show you in the next video. Obviously these are great for showing clients, showing future clients, and obviously as your final output for any weddings you do. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and we'll see you in the next video where I'll show you what the sample set is like.